You have likely spent your entire life believing that the way to be respected is to be useful, and yet you find yourself in a state of perpetual exhaustion because your usefulness has become a permit for others to trespass upon your time and your dignity. You know the feeling of a heavy heart when a colleague dumps a weekend project on your desk or a family member dismisses your needs, and you realize that your internal no was swallowed by a social yes before it even reached your throat. You feel invisible not because you aren't seen, but because you are seen as a resource to be harvested rather than a sovereign to be consulted. This social invisibility is the direct result of a labor frequency, a mode of existence where you signal through your rising pitch and constant apologies that your boundaries are merely suggestions. You are currently viewed as a variable that can be pushed because you have not yet installed the clinical architecture required to hold space. I am Grace, the Trinity English Scholar, and we are here to perform a total reconstruction of your linguistic identity. We are moving beyond the mere desire to be noticed and into the architecture of command, where your presence is an objective fact that the environment must accommodate. Before we begin the clinical audit of your current delivery, ensure you have liked this video and subscribed to the channel. This is the biometric signature of your commitment to the sovereign curriculum. For those who require the exhaustive technical documentation and the phonetic frequency charts to support this evolution, this forensic PDF is the primary resource for your 2,500-word verbatim requirement. We are not here to help you speak up. We are here to help you delete the noise so that when you do speak, the world has no choice but to rearrange itself to accommodate your frequency. We are transitioning you from a state of verbal desperation to a state of strategic silence. There is a question we will leave suspended until the final transition of this hour. If you are always explaining your value, do you actually possess any? The answer defines your trajectory from the labor force to the leadership axis. The transition from a high-frequency chatter to a low-frequency sovereign requires a total reconstruction of your vocal and cognitive relationship with space. We begin with the foundational layer of the Trinity architecture, the phonetic anchor. In a high-stakes professional environment, the commoner experiences a physiological constriction of the vocal folds, causing the voice to migrate into the nasal cavity or the upper throat. This creates a thin, reedy sound that signals submission and anxiety to the primitive parts of the human brain. The Trinity Scholar prevents this by grounding the delivery in the diaphragm, ensuring that every word is anchored by a weight of air. This is the phonetic physics of authority. The understanding that sound is a physical force that either pushes back against the environment or collapses under its pressure. This grounding is especially critical when delivering the hard floor, the intentional downward pitch at the end of every sentence. Most people use a rising inflection because they are subconsciously asking for the listener's approval to finish their thought. The sovereign uses the hard floor to signal that the thought is an immutable structure that the listener must now navigate. This works in tandem with the lexical purge of narrative fillers. You must surgically remove the linguistic debris that characterizes amateur speech. Words like actually, basically, honestly, and the terminal right? These are permission seekers. They are the sound of a mind that is afraid of the silence between ideas. The Trinity Scholar replaces these with categorical nouns, clinical terms that define reality rather than describing feelings. You do not honestly feel like the plan is bad. You identify a structural misalignment in the implementation framework. By using these high-density terms, you remove your own personality from the equation, a process known as institutional displacement. You are no longer a person with an opinion, you are the voice of the system's requirements. This displacement is the ultimate defense mechanism, as it makes it impossible for an opponent to attack you without attacking the logic of the institution itself. Furthermore, we must address the still axis. Physical authority is inversely proportional to unnecessary movement. The common person nods, leans in, and fidgets to show engagement. The sovereign remains still to show governance. Your neck, shoulders, and hands must be anchored, allowing your words to be the only moving variable in the room. This creates a density of presence that makes the air around you feel heavier, demanding that others slow down to match your frequency. Finally, we integrate the strategic pause. The common person fears silence because they believe it signals a lack of knowledge. The sovereign uses silence to signal a lack of interest in low-utility variables. By pausing for 3 full seconds before and after a key statement, you create a structural vacuum that forces the room to adjust to your pace. You are no longer a participant in the conversation. You are the one who defines the rate at which reality is processed. Walkthrough 1. Everyday sovereignty. Imagine a scenario. You are at a high-end restaurant or a boutique where a service provider has made a significant error in your order and is now attempting to smooth it over with a casual apology and a suggestion that you just make do with the mistake because they are currently too busy to rectify it immediately. Non-Trinity Scholars approach. Oh, well, I guess it's okay, but I really was looking forward to the other dish because I don't really like this one, so if you could maybe check if they can fix it? I'm so sorry to be a pain. I know you guys are really busy tonight and I don't want to make things harder for you, but it's just not what I asked for, you know? Trinity Scholars approach. The output does not align with the initial request. The discrepancy between the order and the delivery requires immediate technical correction. We are not negotiating for a compromise. We are restoring the integrity of the transaction. Please initiate the remediation protocol now to ensure the service baseline is met. Trinity analysis. In this scenario, the non-Trinity scholar has effectively validated the error by apologizing for noticing it. By saying, "I guess it's okay and I'm so sorry," they have framed themselves as a burden rather than a client. Their voice likely rose in pitch, signaling social anxiety and a fear of confrontation. This acoustic footprint of desperation tells the service provider that the customer is a low-utility variable who can be ignored. The Trinity scholar, however, utilizes institutional displacement and the hard floor. She does not use personal pronouns like I or my. She focuses on the service baseline and remediation protocol. By using the 3-second strategic pause, she creates a boundary that the provider cannot easily cross. She hits the hard floor on the final syllable of every sentence, signaling that the error is an objective fact that must be resolved. The clinical nature of her delivery creates an unbearable pressure for the provider, forcing them to treat the correction as a high-priority requirement rather than an optional favor. She has effectively repositioned herself as the auditor of the transaction, making the provider's attempt to deflect look unrefined and unprofessional. Walkthrough 2. Professional sovereignty. Imagine a scenario. You are in a project meeting where a senior manager is attempting to volonté tell you to take on a massive new workload that is completely outside your current job description, framing it as a great opportunity for growth while offering no additional compensation or resources. Non-Trinity scholars approach. I would really love to help out, and it does sound like a great opportunity. But I'm just so swamped right now and I don't know if I can fit it in because I'm already working late every night, so maybe we can talk about it next month? I'm really trying to be a team player, but I'm just worried about my current projects failing if I take this on. Trinity scholars approach. The proposed expansion of duties falls outside the established architectural scope of this role. The current resource allocation is already optimized for the primary deliverables. A secondary deployment of this magnitude would necessitate a total recalibration of the compensation-to-output ratio. We will hold the current baseline until the structural requirements for expansion are formally approved. Trinity analysis. The non-Trinity scholar fails here by treating a structural boundary as a personal worry. By saying "I'm just so swamped and trying to be a team player," they appear to be begging for mercy, which the manager will interpret as a lack of leadership. They're because handles allow the manager to argue about their time management rather than the scope of the role. The Trinity scholar utilizes institutional displacement and the semantic lever. She removes the I and the me entirely, focusing on the architectural scope and resource allocation. This lever moves the manager's attention away from the person and toward the logic of the system. She uses the hard floor to state the facts of the role as an immutable record. By labeling the request as a secondary deployment, she dismisses the manager's opportunity framing as unrefined and unhelpful. She positions herself as the person who is protecting the primary deliverables, while the manager is framed as a variable that is threatening the project's integrity. She has moved from the position of the overworked employee to the position of the strategic governor. Walkthrough 3. Crisis governance. Imagine a scenario. A high-stakes negotiation has reached a breaking point where the other party has become aggressive, using loud tones and personal insults to try and intimidate you into accepting a deal that is heavily weighted in their favor, essentially trying to bully you into submission. Non-Trinity Scholars approach: please don't talk to me like that. I'm just trying to find a solution that works for both of us, and I think it's really unfair that you're getting so angry because I've been very patient and I really don't think this deal is good for my company. So can we please just calm down and try to be professional about this? Trinity Scholars approach: the shift into aggressive tonal variables is noted. Emotional volatility is a low-resolution tactic that does not alter the data of the agreement. We are suspending the session until the communication frequency returns to a professional baseline. The current terms remain non-negotiable. We will re-engage when the logic of the transaction is the primary focus. Trinity analysis. The non-Trinity scholar uses "I think" and "can we please," which signals to the bully that their tactics are working by causing emotional distress. This is a total loss of professional sovereignty, as it prioritizes the bully's behavior over the deal's integrity. The Trinity scholar, conversely, utilizes syntactic compression and the hard floor. She does not acknowledge the insults because they are irrelevant to the concept of transaction integrity. She defines the bully's behavior as a low-resolution tactic. By using the strategic pause, she refuses to fill the air with comfort or defensive explanations, making the suspension of the meeting feel like an inevitable consequence of the bully's failure to remain professional. She hits the hard floor on non-negotiable, signaling that the matter is settled and her governance of the space is absolute. She has effectively protected her own dignity and the company's resources by remaining on the still axis of authority, making the bully look like an unrefined child in a room of adults. Key takeaways. The transition from verbal noise to strategic silence is the hallmark of the sovereign professional. First, you must recognize that your reasons are your leaks. When you justify your position using the word "because," you are handing your opponent the tools to dismantle your authority. Delete the justification and simply state the requirement. Second, you must master the hard floor. Every sentence you utter in a professional environment must hit the floor with a downward pitch. This tells the room that your words are not suggestions, they are the boundary of the conversation. Third, you must utilize institutional displacement. Remove the I and the me and speak as the voice of the system. Whether it is the project, the contract, or the data, let the institution be the hero of your narrative. This protects your identity while amplifying your impact. When you stop explaining and start legislating, you move from being a resource that is used to being the architect who defines how the resources are allocated. You are no longer the one breathing the air of the room, you are the one who determines its pressure. You must remember that every interaction is a diagnostic of your status. If you fill the silence, you are the subordinate. If you hold the silence, you are the authority. The world does not give you boundaries, it tests the ones you have already built. If your boundaries are made of explanations, they will be breached. If they are made of silence and categorical nouns, they will be respected. Your assignment for the next 48 hours is the installation of the strategic vacuum. You are prohibited from answering any professional question immediately. When someone asks you for information or a decision, you will look them in the eye, count to 3 in total silence, and then deliver your response using the hard floor. This silence acts as a filter, removing the social contagion of anxiety from your delivery. You will audit every email you send for the word I. If you find it more than once per paragraph, you must rewrite the entire message to center the project or the requirement instead of yourself. Furthermore, you will find one negotiation variable in your life, whether it is a late bill, a difficult colleague, or a service request, and you will address it using only categorical nouns and zero softening language. You will deliver your requirement, hit the floor, and remain silent until the other party speaks first. To assist with this, you will perform the vocal compression exercise. Record yourself speaking a simple sentence, like "the data is ready," but you must compress the air into the final word, ensuring the pitch drops at least half an octave. Do not stop until you have physically felt the silence working for you rather than against you. You must also review the PDF provided for today's session to identify the specific softening agents you use most frequently and surgically remove them from your lexicon. I am Grace, the Trinity English Scholar. We do not speak to be understood. We speak to be obeyed. See you in the next frame.